Hello! Let's make some pillows. We've got 3 different pillows we are making. The first is following a tutorial from one of my favorite creators, Christine McConnell. I wanted to make her Canadian Smocked Pillow for a while and figured it would add the perfect, elegant, spooky accent to my couch. The second is based on the cozy pumpkin pillow I saw on the American Pottery Barn site last year, but it wasn't available in Australia. It is this year, but I want to make a knitted version. The third one is a square pillow with some gathering to try and coordinate with the Canadian Smocked Pillow. So let's jump on in. The first pillow we are making is a Canadian Smocked Pillow. I'm following Christine McConnell's tutorial, including all of her measurements, which can be found in her vintage pillow making episode of From the Mind of Christine McConnell. Her video is linked in the description below. This is a great pillow to make if you don't have a sewing machine. I managed to stitch it completely by hand. I chose to use 2 meters of black velveteen for this pillow since in her video, Christine McConnell suggests using a textured fabric. I chose to start from the inside marks and work my way out to the edges. I went with the stitch method where you run your thread all the way along the smocking. You start by creating a knot at the base of the connecting lines, then stitch your 2 corners together, following the line you drew, ending with a knot, and then carry your thread without pulling to the next corner to be worked on. Create a new knot there, and then knot those 2 corners together, and continue repeating until it's all smocked. I want to stress, this is a deceptively easy pillow to make. Most of your time is taken up with marking out the smocking marks and hand stitching the smocking, but it's actually really easy to do and you can kind of zone out and watch or listen to something and have it done in the evening. I also recommend wearing a thimble because all of that hand sewing does wear on your fingers. I chose to hand stitch the 2 edges together with a back stitch. I pulled apart an old square pillow to make the insert. It was made of 2 19-inch diameter circles of some stash cotton poplin stitched together. I had 2 large black buttons in my stash and kind of liked the subtle contrast in texture, so I left them as is rather than recovering them with the velveteen. The second pillow is knit from about 200 meters of bulky alpaca wool. I started by using magic cast-on to cast on 6 stitches and then did a rapid increase followed by a more gradual increase to create the base. I knit straight until I had just enough yarn to do the decreases, and then proceeded to do the opposite to my initial increases and decrease the top. I stuffed the pillow as I went, and in hindsight it would have been good to have a fabric insert just to stop the stuffing from showing through. When I had 10 stitches left, I swapped to green for the stem and continued knitting, shaping, and stuffing. I ran lengths of yarn from the bottom all the way around to create the pumpkin segments. This final pillow was the result of weeks of pondering what could coordinate with the first pillow. I loved the smocking and wanted something similarly interesting, but a bit more understated. For a 40 centimeter pillow, I cut 4 strips of fabric that measured 80 by 10 centimeters and a larger square that measured 25 by 25 centimeters. The strips were sewn together diagonally at the corners to create a frame for the square piece. The inside edges were gathered and then pinned to the outside edges of the square centerpiece. I started from the center of each piece and worked my way out to the edge to try and get even gathers throughout. I cut a 41 by 41 centimeter square of poplin for the back of the pillow. I recommend making all of these pieces a bit larger if you like to work with more than 1 centimeter of seam allowance. I gathered the outer edges of the front and attached them to the back piece using the same process as before. It gets a little funny at the corners, but I just adjusted the gathers until I was happy. So 3 of the 4 sides, and stay stitch the final gathered side. A hooked needle can be very handy to help sew your pillow closed. And that is it for pillows. I am so excited to make more, particularly of the circular smocked pillow. It is so elegant and pretty and already covered in cat hair, as I'm sure you saw in the reveal. I'm also thrilled I was able to come up with the similarly detailed little square pillow to go with it. I spent a lot of time trying to think how I could apply the smocking to a square pillow, but I think gathering was just a simpler way to go. The knitted one was a last minute decision when the Sherpa fabric I ordered arrived, and it was just a little too pastel for the decorative theme I was going for. And what a happy mistake it was, because I absolutely adore this. When I sent photos to my friends, they asked for the pattern, so I've put my notes in a sort of pattern format as a free Ravelry and Coffee download. The links to those are in the description if you're interested. It has not been tested, so be warned that the stitch counts might not be accurate, but you're essentially doing a ton of increases, knitting straight for a bit, and then doing a ton of decreases, so it shouldn't go too awry if you're following the notes. I was just struggling to get the notes to format properly in the HTML setting on the Ravelry project page, so that's why I threw it into there, and I'll probably revisit it and make it into a nice clean pattern. That is it for this project. If you decide to make any of these pillows, please tag me or send me photos, or you can also use the hashtag 13ofHalloween. I would love to see what you make. And if you like this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to join along with the final week of 13 projects of Halloween. If you would like to see all the projects we've done so far, you can check the playlist that will pop up on screen in the end card. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you soon for project number 11. Bye!